What's your name?
Francesca Wagner.
Francesca Wagner. Okay. How old are you?
I'm 28.
All right. And are you married?
I'm divorced.
Divorced? Okay. Do you have any kids?
I do. I have 3. I have an 8-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old.
Okay. Do you have any siblings yourself?
I do. I have 3. I'm the oldest. I have a brother that's 18 months younger than me, a sister that's 6 years younger than me, and then a baby brother that's 13.
Okay. Do y'all get along pretty well?
For the most part.
For the most part? The sibling thing. Yeah. What about your parents? Do you have both your parents still?
Both of them are deceased.
Okay.
They passed in 2014, 8 months apart.
Okay. Okay. Did you ever feel like you had like a party scene in your life?
Most definitely.
Most definitely. Okay.
After my parents passed, I had custody of my little sister for 2 years.
Okay.
When she moved out after she graduated high school at 19, and I was single, I got in the club life of bartending. And so that's when I got hooked on going from bar to bar, partying, drinking.
Okay. Would you say that, or would you say, have you ever had like issues with like substance abuse or anything like that?
I wouldn't say really substance abuse. I've smoked weed. I mean, I've been with a pothead. And then I would say, but addictions or anything, so I guess like alcohol was an addiction.
Definitely.
And that's something that I just turned to really numb me. Like the party scene and alcohol is what numbed me. So I didn't have to think about anything, just keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of give me like a couple things that you feel like have really molded you and made you into the 28-year-old Frankie that you are now.
Life. My parents passing at 21 and taking care of my siblings really made me grow up faster than I had to. Being in an abusive marriage, that it can either make you or break you, and that's something that made me a lot stronger as well. And then my 2 youngest children are all me. So I've had no choice but to become the woman and mother that I need to be for myself and for them.
What do you feel like your purpose in life is?
Different people have different beliefs, but I feel like my calling and my purpose, and I've been told this more than once, is to help other women. Adults that different parts of my story are to be told, to bring them closer to Christ or to know who He is and learn from my experiences.
Being that you talked about bringing people to Christ and you've had that party scene background, how do you think, like, how do you deal with the judgment of others when it comes to somebody saying like, no, that's not the way that she thinks or whatever, or somebody who may doubt the way that you feel about a certain thing because they know your past a little bit?
I tell everybody my past is what made me. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not afraid to share it with anybody because that's who made me. At first, I used to want to duck and hide my head because I felt like people were looking at me like this or people were looking at me like that, but I had to come to the realization that what I've done, what I did, is who made me. And so I'm not ashamed of it. It made me stronger. And then I know who God is, or, can pull people to Christ because of what He's done for me.
Of course. Now you talked about being an advocate for women, other women, and young women. What does that look like for you, like, in the future?
My goal is in 5 years, I genuinely want to open up a women's home to have that for the people like that, like a shelter. And then I also want to travel the world. I want to go from state to state, meet new people, share my story, hear other stories, and just travel the world with it.
Okay. There is something that you would like to get off your chest, just to like, maybe there's a truth or something that you want to get out there, or something that you just want to address it.
I guess the thing I've been battling with is something that I battled with was when my mom passed, even though it was 2014, she committed suicide. She hung herself and she left a 5-page letter. So in that letter, the first sentence was that I was to take care of my younger brother and my younger sister. And I battled with a long time, not knowing it, I guess not admitting it, but I was angry with her. So that's something I honestly just recently, even though it was that many years ago, have been battling with and trying to find peace in, knowing that she's at peace now no matter what it was.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you had an abusive relationship or abusive marriage. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It started off with mental abuse. Some men, when you're a strong woman, I guess you could say, they're intimidated by you. So it started off with mental abuse. It was the fat, ugly hoe calling out of my name. And then when it went from there to where he would be battling with things, it would be abuse. So just out of nowhere, I could be sitting on the couch, get punched in my face, get dragged by my hair through the house and jumped on. I've had broken ribs, been suffocated, stomped in the ribs until my ribs shattered, and a ruptured spleen. It's just a long line between a lot of things. You never know what some women are or anybody's battling with behind closed doors.
How did you in those instances? Because I know you had your kids then. So how did you protect them in that sense, or have you ever had to explain to them what was going on?
I hid it from them as much as I could. You never want to tell your children mommy's hurting, or he hit you, or this, because it would always be, he'd shut the door and would do it. They did see a couple times when it was done, and after that is when I left. But of course, even though you don't tell your children, they know because they sense it.
Right.
So that's when it was just time to go.
What was when you left? Describe that scenario there.
It was my third 14-hour shift working that week. It was a Friday, and I was the head of household for a few weeks when COVID first started. So it was payday. He wanted me to bring my whole paycheck home directly to him. So I told him I wasn't doing it. The month before, I brought him a $1,200 money order for rent, and he spent it on a transmission for his vehicle. So when this paycheck came, no, you're not getting it. If you can't be the head, then no. And so all day long I'm at work, I'm getting phone call after phone call, how he was gonna beat me, do this, call the police on me. I was dealing with a narcissist, so he could detail things to police or to other people to where it would be flipped on me. So after that last call, when I ended my shift, I decided I wasn't going back. I went to Walmart, I got me work clothes for the next day and my kids' clothes, and I went and stayed in a hotel. I never went back. Stayed in a hotel for 3 months, filed for divorce, and got us a home.
Close this out. If you could tell any woman, give a woman some words of encouragement, what would you tell them?
Don't give up. Your story doesn't end here. If you're still here, you're still here because you have a purpose. So go out and fulfill that purpose. Don't let anything tear you down, because any woman is too beautiful to hold their head down. So to hold your head up and keep going.